But this change in skin colour was nothing compared with the massive upheaval approaching. I'm heading back to Turkey because a recent discovery here shows that after the Ice Age, our ancestors abandoned their way of life, one they had followed since our species first appeared in Africa. And what happened here still defines our world today. This final stage of my European journey leads to a remote hillside in the far south of the country. Well, this is Göbekli Tepe, an extraordinary sight that I'm just so incredibly excited to look at.
Hi, Alice.
Are you Klaus Schmidt?
Nice to meet you, yeah.
Hello, I'm Alice Roberts.
I heard from your visit, yeah. Nice to meet you here in Göbekli Tepe.
I'm so excited about coming here. It's such an amazing discovery you've made.
It's amazing, that's true. That's really true.
You must be very excited.
And just this season we have a lot of new findings, so it's worth to have a look.
Oh, come on then, let's have a look. Göbekli Tepe is 12,000 years old, over twice as old as the pyramids. Already, Klaus has found dozens of standing stones, each one carved with mysterious symbols. These stone circles are possibly the oldest purpose-built temples in the world.
Sometimes there are arms and hands and fingers depicted, so it's very clear that the T part is a human head in profile and the shaft of the pillar is a human body. So here we have an example of the depiction of an arm which is going down here, and the fingers, the hand and the fingers are not excavated yet, but it's clear they will appear when we will continue to work here.
So you've got a circle of smaller T-shaped pillars and then two enormous ones in the centre.
It's always the same. There are two in the centre which are very big and freestanding, surrounded by smaller but similar ones. And we are understanding it as a meeting, as a gathering of these beings made of stone. Here now we have the most interesting reliefs.
Oh, wow.
Ibis, snake, and a vulture. It's a story illustrated by these animals. And this story is not a peaceful one. A scorpion, snake, and so on. So our model for the function of all these installations is they had been made for burial reasons, to bring the dead bodies to open places, and so vultures are eating the flesh and other birds.
So you think this might have been a site for these sky burials, where people are left out in the open to be picked clean by vultures?
Yeah, that's our model.
And these are the vultures?
These are the vultures, yeah.
It almost looks like hieroglyphics.
Maybe pre-hieroglyphic messages or Stone Age hieroglyphic.
Klaus is anxious to show me his most spectacular discovery.
And here we found this nice animal.
This is incredibly beautiful. I mean, this is sculpture. It's not just a relief, is it? Sure. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's clearly it's a masterpiece of work.
It makes you rethink the Stone Age, doesn't it? I mean, you tend to think of hunter-gatherers as being, I don't know, fairly crude in some ways, and not necessarily capable of producing artifacts that beautiful.
It's clear that in these societies had specialists for stoneworking at least. So really people who didn't do anything else as to produce sculptures and pillars and reliefs from stone.
These are such exciting finds, aren't they? Yeah. This place suggests a society that could support specialist craftsmen and perhaps even a priesthood. It was the beginning of a totally new way of life.
These are sites of settled hunters. So it was a high culture of hunters here,
Yeah.
which was nearly exploding in the 10th millennium. So it's still a hunter-gatherer society in its structures and in its buildings, its monuments.
But there was another very important difference between these hunter-gatherers and any of their predecessors. They were settling down, abandoning their nomadic lifestyle. A huge shift which would help spark a Europe-wide revolution. And the evidence for this can be found growing in the surrounding fields. Locked inside this single stalk of wheat is a story of how the world was transformed. Geneticists have analysed DNA from domesticated wheat varieties from across the world, and the staggering thing is they can all be traced back to grasses which originally grew in this area. Which means that farming as we know it in Europe was born around here. Communities settled down and populations expanded. This could have driven the need to start producing food. And as farming spread, the landscape was transformed. Forests were cleared, and villages, then towns, then cities would grow. Founded by descendants of the small groups of pioneers who first entered Europe around 45,000 years ago. Those early Europeans were people just like you and me, but it is humbling when you see the challenges they faced. They overcame the competition from Neanderthals and made it through the Ice Age.